Helo a croeso i'r sgwrs ydyn am cyllido cyrsia a gwasanaeth iechyd genedlaethol. Hello and welcome to the quick talk about NHS funded courses. So I'm going to be talking to you about the options for funding for NHS courses. So that includes nursing, midwifery and radiography. So you do have two options. The option I'm going to be talking to you today is about the NHS funded course option. So this is option one, so funding via NHS Wales. This is available to any student who promises to work for the NHS in Wales for 2 years after graduating. So, now ni edrych ar hwn rwan, gyllid gan y Gwasanaeth Iechyd Genedlaethol. So we're going to be looking at funding from the NHS in Wales. So in this case, the NHS pays all of your tuition fees. So there are no tuition fees for you to pay. So the NHS covers all of the tuition fees to study nursing, midwifery or radiography at Bangor, or of course at our Wrexham campus as well. So students also receive a non-means tested £1,000 grant each academic year. So again, that is money that you do not pay back. That is a grant of £1,000 a year. You can then also apply for a means tested bursary depending on your household income, and there's also further financial support available. So for example, if you have any disabilities, any kind of placement costs as well as those of you who perhaps have dependent children and also maybe dependent adults as well. So please take a look at this screen now. So dyma'r cyllid gan y Gwasanaeth Iechyd Genedlaethol. So this is the funding from the NHS. So this is the bursary, which is means tested, that you may be eligible for. So if you have a look on the left hand side, it shows the gross household income. So this, for example, is your parents' house if you currently live at home with your parents and any partners that they may have. Or if you live independently, if you have a family of your own. So this is the gross household income that you have of your household. So for example, you can see here that if your household income is £24,279 or less a year, if you were to study a midwifery course, you would be eligible for up to £4,491 a year. Now that's a bursary. So whenever you hear the term bursary, that is in essence free money. So money that you do not pay back whatsoever. So you'll see here it's slightly different. So midwifery courses, it's £4,491 a year. Nursing course, it's £3,651 a year. And for any other NHS courses, for example, radiography, it's £2,643 a year. Now, obviously, you can also notice that the higher the household income, the less the bursary that's available. So it's really important that you have a discussion with your family or any partners as well, and see where you would fit into this table and see what money perhaps you are eligible for. It should also be noted that where it says elsewhere rate, this basically is if you are living away from home. So for example, if you are coming to Bangor and perhaps you're studying midwifery and you're deciding to live in halls or live in rented accommodation, that would be considered an elsewhere rate. It's also correct for those of you perhaps who are mature students who are perhaps still staying in your home where you either pay a mortgage or you pay rent. That is also considered an elsewhere rate. So this is the money that would be available to you as a means tested bursary. Mae 'na hefyd cyllid ychwanegol ar gael I chi. There is also additional funding available for you. So in addition to the tuition fees being paid completely by the NHS Wales, and also in addition to the grant and the means tested bursary you might be eligible for, there is also the possibility for you to apply for a reduced maintenance loan. Now this is the only part of this package that you would need to repay at the end of your studies, and it should be said only once you are earning over £26,725 a year. So let's just take a look at that. So the reduced maintenance loan, if you're an English student, by that what we mean is that you currently reside in England but are coming to Bangor to study, for example, you could be eligible for up to £2,535 a year. Now it says if living elsewhere, and by what that means is that you were living in rented accommodation, for example, or you're living independently. Myfyrwyr Cymraeg, so for our Welsh students, so that means that you're currently residing in Wales, but you're coming to Bangor, you could be eligible for up to £4,675 a year if you are living in halls or if you're living in rented accommodation, privately owned accommodation, for example. If you decide to live at home with your parents, for example, it's a little bit reduced, so it would be up to £3,895 a year of the reduced maintenance loan. Lle I wneud cais, where to apply. So application forms are submitted online via the Bursary Online Support System, or BOSS for short. So evidence should also be sent by special or recorded delivery, and it should be sent at least 2 months before the course start date, and they might require you to provide proof of ID, for example, proof of household income and expenditure, proof of address, and any other requested information. Now, if you do decide to go down this route and that you did want to have the reduced maintenance loan as part of this package, then we would suggest that you go through your regional funding provider. So, for example, for Wales, this is Student Finance Wales, Cyllido Myfyrwyr Cymru. If you currently live in England pre-university, then that would be Student Finance England, Student Finance Northern Ireland for any Northern Irish students, as well as the Scottish Award Agency for Scotland for any Scottish students. So it is devolved with 4 organisations responsible for assessing student finance awards, and we do urge you to apply to the organisation that represents the region where you live pre-university. You will be receiving your funding in instalments. So, for example, the student finance part, which would be your reduced maintenance loan and your grants, would be paid in 3 instalments, approximately a third per term. So, for example, for any September starters, this will be the first instalment in late September, the second in January, and the third after Easter. For any of April starters, this will be mid-April, the first one, the second in late September, and the third in January. The NHS bursary and grant will be paid in 12 monthly instalments from 1st of November for any September starters, and any April will be 1st of May. We'd also suggest that you do get in contact with our many support units for any extra information. They'll be able to help you with any queries that you've got, any personal questions that you may have as well. Please have a look at the telephone number below, as well as the email address, moneysupport@bangor.ac.uk, and you can find more information about the NHS Course Funding on our web pages, www.bangor.ac.uk/student finance, and also I would advise you to take a look at the NHS Wales website as well for some more information about the means tested bursaries available. Diolch yn fawr iawn I chi. Thank you very much and all the best.